There we go.
Yeah, we should be live.
Going?
We'll wait a minute, see if people join. If not, we'll still go.
I can't have the YouTube up.
Yeah, we're going. We're going.
Worst comes to worst, we just kind of talk and then post it and leave it up. So
Let me pull up the YouTube on my phone, then we can start talking,
sounds good.
just so I can have it as a reference.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the YouTube on my phone, then we can start talking. I'll mute that. All right, I think we got it.
Sounds good.
So we'll just get going here. Obviously, people will trickle in, hopefully. If not, at a later date, because it will be posted onto the YouTube channel. But obviously, we all watched the game. UConn fell to Seton Hall 75-60, and it probably was more than that. It should have been more than that. I mean, they killed us every aspect of the game. I felt like we were up 20-10, and then from there, what you can do the math, 65-40. The rest of the way, just rough. What do you got? How you guys feeling? First thoughts.
Yeah, not feeling great. Andrew said that he feels like this is the worst loss he's ever seen. I don't agree. Um, it sucked. It wasn't fun, but I feel like we definitely experienced no worse heartbreak. It just sucks that this is kind of the first game of the season and we lost debatably our best player and the game. So having that all happen kind of just at once is like shocking in a way. So I mean, we got St. John's coming up. Hopefully the same thing doesn't happen, but you do learn from these games. Not fun losing, but knowing more about the team now than you did a week ago is definitely interesting.
I'm gonna keep my cool here. I don't want to be like the St. John's 51 minutes of whining episode that we did last year. But I mean, it just all around looked terrible. I mean, the games that we lost last year, the Seton Hall, we were up for most of the game, lost at the buzzer. That is what it is. St. John's, I got vibes from that game from tonight, honestly. Just nobody bothered to show up. They thought this game was going to be a cakewalk. And I mean, they should start listening to what we say because we said that it wasn't going to be a cakewalk. I mean, they've dominated us in that stupid arena. There's 3 years in a row, three straight losses in the Prudential Center. Started with overtime when oh man, what was this? 21-22 in
Mm-hmm.
overtime. And last year, now this year. So, but just so many things we could talk about. I mean, we could go on for hours, but the main thing that I just want to say, I mean, Samson Johnson might have played himself out of the rotation tonight. I mean, honestly, I don't think that's a drastic statement to make because he couldn't grab a rebound if his life depended on it. But I mean, it is what it is. It's a bad, bad loss. But I mean, I'd rather get that out of the way now. I feel like we say this every year when we lose a crap game like this, that we'd rather get it out of the way now than do it to a really terrible team in March, like we did 2 years ago. But I mean, I'm not angry per se. I'm just disappointed that we've played so well up until this point, and then we just play like this against honestly, they're not good at all. And I just want to point that out. They're not good, and we just played terrible.
Going back
Yeah, it's
to what,
just. Oh, you can
sorry,
go
I
ahead,
just
Matt.
wanted to mention Samson because
Yeah.
he said something about Samson, but I mentioned to Connor before we started. It was like we were playing with a small forward at center. It's just he wasn't his usual self. He wasn't really doing much. He turned the ball over. Maybe they weren't his turnovers, but it felt like he was the reason the other team had the ball five plus times. He couldn't grab a board. He wasn't above the rim like he usually is. It was like he lost a step. We couldn't pull any rebounds, and every time St. John's plummeted into the paint, it was a bucket every single time. It was like 8 or 10 possessions in a row where they just ran right into the paint and scored it on us when Klingon went out. So it definitely stunk.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just unfortunate that like three, four, or five even of our guys had their worst game of the season all in the same game. I mean, Cam didn't really show much. I'll credit their defense. They were really suffocating us on the perimeter, not letting us get great looks. Cam, he only had 5 points, and obviously he fouled out. But even solo ball, he had 6 points all on free throws. I believe he didn't really do much from the field. I mean, Stephon Castle, he had probably his worst game. I mean, he had a bunch of turnovers. He showed some flashes, but you can't have all those guys have negative games if you want to pull it out. We saw it tonight, obviously, 15-point loss to Seton Hall, who I underestimated them. I certainly underestimated their center play, Jaden Bediako. I thought Klingon did have a field day. We're not going to say he didn't. He had 14 points in 14 minutes before his injury, but I didn't expect Bediako to be as good offensively and defensively as well as he was. So he impressed me more than I expected, and all the other their guards, they're tough. They're not great shooters. They only took maybe 7 or 8 threes, but they're tough guards, and they just blew by us every time. That can't happen.
I mean, everything you just said is right. First of all, I just want to point that out. You can talk about Klingon getting hurt. That obviously sucks, but there's just no passion tonight. I've brought this up last year after, oh man, I think the St. John's game. There was just no passion yet again. I mean, people hanging their heads everywhere. And honestly, this is a coaching error on Hurley this game. You have to make substitutions when it's not going well, no matter if it's Stewart or Ross off the bench, Apostolos, or even Andre Johnson or Singare for Samson. You got to make substitutions. If guys suck, you got to bring them out of there because Samson's going to be like, you know what? I suck this game and it doesn't matter because I'm going to play no matter what. You have to make substitutions. You can't leave the same guys in there. That's inexcusable from Hurley. And that's the one thing that I've hated about him ever since he's been here. He doesn't have good rotations. That it really pisses me off.
Yeah, and it just felt like for like period of time, you just didn't have a guy out there who could get a bucket. We would make fun of Adama a lot last year because he would kind of just get the ball and you knew exactly what was going to happen. But he would do that and he would finish with 26 to 30 points. And it was not really much of an issue because we were winning. But when we lost, we kind of love to blame it on that and him. But I mean, how many times out there was it like Newton was just forcing up a shot, a three, or Caravan was shooting a shot that he wasn't normally taking, or Cam Spencer was just passing up on open shots, which kind of ticked me off a little bit. He was wide open on the key a couple times and just didn't shoot it. He would swing it and it would hit Klingon on the inside, who seemed like our only bright spot tonight, Klingon. But it would be really nice if a guy like, Castle could get a little more aggressive or Newton could cut in a little bit more. But overall, it was just pretty disappointing, not having anywhere to go. We couldn't score anything. They mentioned during the broadcast, we averaged 88 points a game, was it, during the preseason? And we had like 51 points tonight, 53 points tonight. So something was obviously not right, and you need to figure that out. You need to find somewhere to get buckets.
Yeah, I have a stat here from Twitter, Dave Borges, the beat reporter. This matches UConn's worst loss since a 75 to 60, which is also the same score as tonight. A 75 to 60 loss at South Florida, January 4th, 2020. So that's the last time we lost by 15, apparently. I mean, according to maybe I don't know if he says worst losses in like numbers wise or worst losses in like how did you lose that game? I don't know what he means by that, but yeah, it's just overall it's tough. I mean, Big East is tough. Road games are tough. And we saw it last night. Marquette was ranked in the top six, I believe they're sixth. They went out to Providence and played worse than we did against Seton Hall tonight. So the Big East, it's not easy to win on the road. It's not easy to win on the road in any environment. Obviously, we had the test against Kansas. We didn't pass it, but we looked a lot better there than we did tonight. But it's just something has to change with these road games. People are I don't believe in this at all. I see people say, why do we bring up the black uniforms? We always struggle in them. I don't think it matters one bit. I can see the superstition. Obviously, we lost a couple of big games with them last year, but it's just a piece of clothing, in my opinion. They look good. They look better in person, I feel like, than they do on the players. It's kind of, you can't really tell if they're black or if they're normal navy blues, if I'm being honest, but I don't think that's an issue, but it's just a rough loss overall. But a much needed one, I feel like. Not that they need to lose, but much needed to get this out of the way. Like, you're not going to blow through the Big East. We're 14-10 in our last 24 Big East games, so it hasn't came as easy as a non-conference.
I mean, yeah, the whole uniform thing, that's just stupid. We just suck tonight. The road thing is true. Road games are tough, but I will say that this is now twice that we've played against the defense where they just pressure us on the perimeter. And if we continue to play like we did tonight and against Kansas against that defense, we're not going to win games. Because I assure you, everybody in the Big East paid attention to what kind of defense Seton Hall played tonight. And guess what they're going to start doing? Playing that defense. So if we start to struggle against it, we're not going to win games in this conference and we're going to be very bad. There's going to be a lot of unhappy fans because we've struggled twice against this defense. And honestly, with how St. John's played tonight against Xavier, they won by like I think like 15. They're going to kill us Saturday if we play like we did obviously tonight. But that defense scares me because everybody's going to start to play because it's such a simple defense, and I just don't know how we can't play against it. It kills my mind thinking about that. We're such a good team, talented players. We can't go against a mid defense like that. Like, man, it's just it's horrible.
What bothered me, I was thinking about throughout the game is why is this a road game? What made that like? Why did we have to go on the road on our first Big East game of the year? We're the reigning national champions. I feel like we should get a home game for our first Big East game. Our first Big East game of the season's a big one, and I felt like I don't know. It just felt like something that should have been a home game. And why are we at Seton Hall for our first game in the Big East after we won a national championship? That just it doesn't really fit right. I felt like our first game should have been at home against Providence or at home against Marquette. But I mean, you given the cards that you are, you don't blame it, but it just felt off to me.
Yeah, I have a couple of quotes and important information because I'm just looking on Twitter. Donovan Clingan has a sprained ankle. His Hurley said his status is like to be determined. I assumed it was his foot. Obviously, he's had foot troubles, but maybe it's a sign of relief it wasn't that foot. I don't know. Maybe look at it that way. There's not really a great way you can look at that, obviously. I'm surprised he even came back on the bench, honestly. I guess it was a sprained ankle. You don't have to stay in the locker room, but I didn't think he'd be coming back in that game. I knew, by like the 11-minute mark and Sampson's still in there that he's not good to go. I mean, obviously we have the St. John's game now 3 days away, but after that, there's not another game for 2 weeks versus DePaul. So I mean, if he's not good to go versus St. John's, it wouldn't be crazy for me, I feel like, for Hurley to hold him out, give him a 2 week break for Christmas, have him healthy for I guess the home stretch, because you don't have another 2 week break really the rest of the season. But yeah, obviously that was a big blow. He was dominating down low. He had 14 points in 14 minutes. I predicted he'd do well in this one, obviously, because I didn't think Bediako was as good as he was, but it's just unfortunate to see him go down. Once he went down, I had a feeling there's no way, especially seeing we were already down at that point by 5 or 7 points. There's no way that we're coming back against them without our best player who's doing all of our scoring.
Didn't really feel like we had much wing strength. I mean, they were just bigger and stronger than us. They were like just bullying us around. It was pretty frustrating. We lacked some size just around the perimeter. I mean, you got to put like Andrew was saying, you got to make some changes. We have some bigger wings. I mean, they could have put Jalen Stewart in the game, who's a bigger guy. And we could have ran a bigger lineup. I don't understand why we didn't. They could have ran Newton and Castle and Ross and Caravan and Klingon at the start. It didn't work. What we were doing didn't work. We were just full of wings and guards. The wings weren't big enough, and one of them was playing center, and he was playing bad. And it was just a big. It just wasn't good. I don't.
Yeah. I wrote down some notes at the end of the first half. I'll pull those up. The points in the paint for Seton Hall, they were just. I know Andrew, you said this felt like the St. John's game in the way that they just like got whatever they want. They did. They obviously Klingon was out, but Sampson still should be a decent enough rim protector that they don't go in there every time and have success every time. But they dominated us points in the paint. I know in the first half they had 24. I don't know what that number was at the end. It was probably what they finished with 75, probably around the 40 mark, if I had to guess. But another thing, inbounds plays. I mean, I remember the color commentator. He said UConn's usually one of the top teams in the nation at inbounds plays. That's not a stat. He's just saying that to make us not make us look worse, but just like to look like he knows something. There's no if there's a stat that goes over inbounds plays, I'd like to see it. But we struggled with that for a long time. There were two big ones. One, Castle tried to like in the first half, both of them. Castle tried to like pass it over a guy and it got deflected. And the other one, I don't remember what it was, but
We tried to go off the back twice and went 0 for 2. That's what it
yeah,
was.
yeah, but it's just the little things like that that if you can't inbound a basketball, how are you gonna
Oh.
score? I mean, we really got nothing going in the half court offense all night, which is something we usually do pretty well at. I mean, we usually get open shooters like Caravan or Spencer. We didn't really have that at all, but I don't know. Another thing, one more thing real quick. We gotta move around more. I feel like I'm sick of seeing Tristan Newton dribbling it at the logo with everyone else down low until there's 10 seconds left or 8 seconds to make a move and take a bad shot. I mean, just keep the offense flowing, keep the defense moving. More importantly, do these backdoor cuts, just get it done. I mean, I'm tired of seeing them just standing around and just waiting for someone to make a play because in a game like this, there's no one to make a play.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one person that needs a serious yelling or talking to tonight, it's going to be Samson. I mean, I'm going to talk about this and I'm going to talk about go off of what you said about the offense. I mean, with Samson tonight, I don't know what it was. His hand-eye coordination just looked so off. Like he's looked so good when he does his alley-oops, but he couldn't even catch a simple pass in the post. Like I don't know if it's just was his depth perception. I don't know if Bediako was actually that good against him, but I mean, I've never seen somebody look like that. Like even when Sunogo had his bad games, it was just the bad shots that he took. Samson literally could not catch the ball at all tonight. I really don't know what it was, and I would love to know because I've never seen that before. I've never seen a guy who's 6'11" not be able to catch the basketball. But back to what you said about the offense, I mean, it is too much standing around. I mean, someone is dribbling for 8, 9 seconds, like that's terrible. Pass and cut, run a simple offense, tire the defense out. I mean, you can't stand there and shoot all day long. It's not going to work. You have to pass and cut. And that's another coaching error. Was a poorly coached game in my opinion.
Yeah, and the out of conference schedule just kind of it gives you a lot of hope. I mean, even last year, like for some reason, like the Big East is an entirely different game of basketball. It's not even close to the same thing as it was in March or preseason, or it's entirely different. And you really like you begin to understand who your good players are and who your good players aren't. And I mean, it doesn't make any sense to because it's not like we were playing bad competition. We had guys play good against Gonzaga and guys play good against UNC and guys play good against Kansas. And even last year, we had guys in the tournament play well. And like the Big East, it's some guys can't hang. I don't understand. I mean, Hassan Diarra, who was fantastic all throughout preseason, even against the good teams coming off the bench, he was pretty minimal. His defense wasn't very noticeable. He had a few big buckets, but they didn't really amount to much. I mean, and then Donovan Clingan, for example. I mean, I feel like underrated him a little bit. We were out of consideration if he was our best player or not. I feel like after tonight, he's 100% our best player. It's him and Newton, and I don't. There's not much of a debate. I just got to see more, I guess, to really. We got to see more to make our minds up on what's going to happen. But as of right now, I feel like just in conference, it's proven to be a big difference.
And another point I just want to make here is that with Castle tonight, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm the only one that noticed this. I mean, people must have. But when he went into the game, Seton Hall went on a run. And I'm going to say that I'm not going to make any outlandish statements that he's overrated or he sucks or needs to transfer. None of that. He just needs to get the one and done thing out of his head because it's very hard to be a one and done on a very good team who wants to win a championship. I mean, you look at guys like Boogie Ellis, who's at USC, who's going to be a one and done. They suck. They're terrible. They're not going to make the tournament. I mean, we're a team coming off a national championship run last year, and I couldn't name a best player on our roster because we played together. We had 7, 8, 9 good players. I think Castle just needs to get it through his head that he's not going to be the best player on this team. He might not be a one and done. If the draft capital is not there, he's not going to go. But if you want to win a championship, then you're going to have to be a team first player. If you want to be a me player, go transfer to a mid program that sucks. That'll get you your draft money. If you want to win a ring, stay here and be the player that you can be. If you want to just go make money, get out of here. That's what I have to say about that. I don't want selfish players on this team.
And that's how college basketball is going nowadays. It's become more prevalent than ever where players who play as part of a team and just have outstanding numbers just physically tend to go higher. I mean, when's the last time we had a guy come into college and just be an outlier all by himself? I mean, the only few names I could really think so are Ben Simmons. I mean, Zion was just an outlandish type player, but I mean, even he played under Coach K's system, and you can't go to
They
Duke
didn't win anything.
They didn't. You can't go to Duke under Coach K and be like, oh, all about me. They made the Sweet 16, which was all right in their 1 year, but if him, Reddish, and RJ stayed another 2 years, they would have had to have won something. But the more college basketball develops, the more the NBA, like the way you make your way to the NBA is going to change. And I honestly feel like that's a lot of the reason why guys are going overseas. They're going to Ignite. They're going and just training at a high school. It's not how it works. Coaches love guys who fit in a system and who have outstanding numbers, physical numbers. If you look at all the recent top picks out of college, they're all guys like that. I mean, even back 5 years. So he definitely needs to. The off the back inbounds, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's high school stuff. You'd never see that at any college or pro. That's not what you do. He missed a lot of his preseason. I'll give him that, but you need to learn quick in the Big East.
I'm just looking at the box score here. Kadari Richmond had 8 steals in
What
probably
do you
like
have against
35
UConn,
minutes.
Kadari? My God.
And out of those 8 steals, I think 6 of them we handed him the ball. Like, like we tried to find a. I remember DR did this at least once. Try to pass it to the guy cutting back door, but just pass it directly to the chest of Richmond. I mean, obviously 8 steals. They're not all by accident. He's a great defender. We knew that, but 23 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 8 steals. I mean, what is, like you said, I mean, he's a UConn killer. It's only in these games in Newark, though. I don't remember what he's really done against us in stores at all, really anything, but he killed us. Dre Davis, I mean, he just out physicaled Alex Caravan the entire game. He had 17 points. I mean, Alamir Dawes, he's a guy we wanted to watch out for. He hit that 3. I kind of thought we had a slight chance. It was like a 14-point game, 5 minutes, get hot. I mean, we weren't going to get hot. But I mean, he drilled a 3 that pretty much just was the dagger. It's just they had a lot of guys that balled out. I mean, Richmond, he's a great player. He's probably one of the top distributors in the Big East. But I mean, I don't think I'm disrespecting him saying 23, 6, 5, and 8 is probably the best game he'll have all season. I mean, I don't know. It was kind of a running joke going in that he's the guy that's going to kill us. He always has. And it turns out he did. I mean, that just can't happen. You got to plan for that a little better. Tristan Newton was the one who got hit the most. He had 6 turnovers. Who else? Castle had 3, DR 2, solo ball 2. I mean, your guards can't combine to have that many turnovers. As a team, you can't have that many turnovers. They were stressing how we averaged less than 10 turnovers a game. We had 17 tonight, and of those 17, 11 were steals. And those steals means it's fast break for Seton Hall, and they killed us in the fast break. I remember they had that one late fast break dunk. That was another dagger, Dre Davis, I believe. But it's just a very ugly game, and I mean, I expected this to be close. I expect all these Big East games, especially the road games, to be close, but we probably should have. We had no business losing by 15. We probably should have lost by 20, even maybe 25 the way we played.
You have the box score up.
I do.
How many fast break points did we have?
Ooh, I might not have that.
Like
Actually, I
4.
should.
We had less than
If I go to
five.
team stats, I might be able. I'm on
I
ESPN app.
think we had 4.
Let me go to the Fox app, see if they have that. I
Our
usually look at
defense,
both of
our
them.
our defense was terrible, and our offense was terrible. It just nothing. There was nothing good. There's nothing good to say.
Just a
there's
terrible game, all in
there's no,
general. Like we just played awful.
nothing good to say.
I mean,
And
Newton hit that first three, then he hit that second three, and then it was awful. I'll credit
it was
that. He hit a
terrible.
couple of that first possession was wild. I mean, we had the ball for like 55 seconds, went 1 for 5, and somehow still scored. The second half, Seton Hall didn't cross the half court line for like 2.5 minutes. Because obviously, once they finally got the ball, they had the back court when we were pressuring them. But it's just it's just a weird game. I'll try to find some more quotes on Twitter that Danny Hurley's saying, and I'll share them with you guys. Let's see.
Klingen's got a boot on his foot. It's great. Soriano's gonna go for 90 Saturday night. I
You
still
gotta
think we
play
win that
Sangara.
game, by the way.
You have to play Sangare. You have to.
Yeah, you have to. There's no excuse now. I mean,
You
I
have
don't
to.
care if you pull a 7-footer out of the stance. You got to play him. Like, no
Gotta.
matter
Yeah.
what here. He has to
It
play.
and if Donovan can't go versus St. John's, Joel Soriano, he had 18 and 14 tonight against Xavier, who we made it clear in our preview yesterday. Xavier has an awful front court, and I'd argue we have an awful front court. That's not argue. We do have an awful front court without Klingen. So he killed us last year. He will likely kill us again this year if we don't have Donovan. But
Just gonna have
I
to
don't think
send
we
doubles
lose
at
that,
him.
though.
You have
yeah,
to
it's
send
it's
doubles at him all day. You gotta believe that St. John's won't kill you from outside the 3 point line. So I don't know. I felt like I mean, how many threes did they even have? They hit two threes.
Seton Hall went 3 for 8, I believe, from three or something like that. They made
It,
three. I know.
it just didn't make any sense to me. They were at the line a lot. I mean, I never like to blame refs for things, but it just seemed soft. And I mean, how many times did it happen where the ball went out of bounds and they had to talk with each other on who it went off of? This was within
Yeah.
5 minutes of the game.
Who was
Yeah, there
actually
was.
paying attention? Which one of you was actually watching the game?
I don't I don't know. Like I don't blame refs for losses ever. Like I'll never do that. It's hard to gain momentum when something is constantly happening every 3 seconds. Even if it's a foul on us, it's like I'd rather just play than have a foul at half court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
Definitely.
one, it was less than a minute. It was maybe 45 seconds where the same refs messed up the call back-to-back times and had to be
Yeah.
overturned. I mean, that can't happen. I'm sorry. I mean, and there's no way that the ref that overturned the call had a better angle than the guy right in front of it, which
Yeah.
makes it even worse. Obviously, I'm pretty sure both of those calls went our way when they overturned it. They were not going to, but they overturned
No,
it
we
to us.
we lost one.
Oh, we did lose one. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
We lost one.
I mean, that's one you're not mad you lose because you knew you lost it. But
Yeah.
let me look in the chat. I really haven't been looking
Yeah, I was gonna
there at
say, do we
all.
need like comments or anything?
Oh,
Yeah.
go
JR Warrior. I
Pirates
wish I didn't
19.
watch it.
Go Pirates 19. Womp womp. We ain't good. Question mark. Scoreboard in all caps. Yeah,
No.
JR Warrior shocked 75 to 60. I forgot to watch. How do you forget to watch? I mean,
Yeah. How?
it's
How?
one thing if you miss it, but if you forget, are you? I'm not making fun of you, but you're just sitting there, oh, I forgot to do this. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So
glad you did.
I feel like the Pirates fan could be your brother. We can't forget
He
about
he
that.
was in here. He was in here last time we streamed.
We can't forget about that. He was in
Yeah,
here for like two of our streams, and we didn't
yeah.
know.
Can't wait for March 3rd. What? So you get your asses handed to you in Hartford? Is that where we play this year? Are we finally out of Gamble with that game?
No, I think it's senior day, so it's a gamble.
Oh, it is at Gamble.
Yeah.
Great for our one senior. Awesome.
Nah, we have two. Do we have two?
Oh, his Cam and Newton gets the second
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
Yo,
Newton. Yeah,
Diarra too. So they
Oh
honor
yeah,
grad
yes.
students,
Yeah,
and
he
Andrew
will
Hurley
get his.
will get his flowers.
Oh yeah.
He's
Oh
somehow
God.
already a senior.
that's crazy.
I do want to say I don't think we lose to St. John's because I think their guards are terrible. And they're gonna get screamed at tonight. They probably already did by Hurley, Kamani, Luke. I mean, everybody is gonna
Eh,
scream at them. And I feel
If
like our guards are gonna play really good against St. John's because their guards are horrible.
if there's one thing that we can take from tonight that's positive, I guess it's that Daniel Hurley stayed relatively calm. He didn't. I did. There was
Yeah.
no real moments of malice from him, which has been a terrible problem in the past. And if he's not getting mad tonight, I don't know. I don't. I can't see it being
Maybe he
much of an
actually
issue this
worked
year.
on it.
I feel like he learned his
Yeah,
lesson last year after Xavier.
that felt like a game where we would claw back in it to like make it a 4 point game. Kind of like, yeah, the Xavier game last year. We were down, but coming back, and then he gets the technical, and that's just it. I thought we were gonna see one of those, but
I mean, that was unacceptable.
yeah.
Love that the guy gets fired up, but that can't happen. But that's last
Yeah.
year. But I also do think like, yeah, St. John's won, but Xavier is really terrible. Like they're really not good. I think they finished ninth in the Big East. Honestly,
Yeah, I that's around
Yeah.
where I have them
like
too.
I just obviously it's a good win for St. John's, but I think Xavier's terrible. I think
They
they're awful.
lost. They lost some big guys and literally big guys and
Mhm.
Who the heck is that other forward? Fremantle and who's the other one?
Well, the one that they thought would have is Jerome Hunter, but
Fremantle.
There's
Jack
one
Nungy.
more.
Fremantle.
Nungy was there last year.
Nungy. That's what his
Who's free?
name
He
Why am
is.
he
I thinking of
like
Fremantle?
Where is
Nungy
he?
had he left. He had the opportunity to take like a sixth year, and he said, "Nope, I'm done with college."
And didn't they lose Boom too?
Yeah, he was
Oh
a grad
yeah,
transfer.
Sule Boom.
Colby Jones got drafted. They lost a
Was like
lot.
Boom transferred?
Yeah, they're not. I don't
No,
think
no, Boom
we
graduated.
Oh,
lose.
oh, oh! I was like, I thought he was like 26.
No,
Apparently,
yeah,
my friend
he's
Ian commented. Who did Ian comment?
uh he said yo, and then he said, "Where are they gonna be in the next AP poll? If they beat St. John's, they'll still be top
They
seven."
won't beat. There's no way they're top 10 if even if they beat St. John's. There's no way.
You
I
don't
mean,
think so?
The fact that Marquette lost is good.
Where are they gonna be? Yeah, that's the question here.
I would say if we beat St. John's convincingly, we probably go to
11.
12. 11 or 12.
11.
11 or 12.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is a bad loss, but I mean, the road game thing is true. I mean, I think I'll say it now. We're gonna have 6 losses on the road. We don't lose to damn DePaul on the road. We don't lose to Xavier on the road. Hopefully, St. John's. That's not a freaking road game. Um,
I just can't see us losing at home.
What sucks is this is supposed to be one of the easier road games that
yeah.
we should
Yeah.
have taken.
I mean, their fans showed out though. I gotta give the credit. They had a full house tonight, and that I feel like got to us. But if you're watching this, I know the two of the three of us are, and Matt, this is directed at you. Get your ass to the XL Center on Christmas Eve,
I wish I could.
8 p.m. Be
I
there.
have no goddamn money.
Be
Maybe it's
there. If you're
maybe
watching this, be there.
maybe if our SeatGeek code is used a few more times, I could have taken
Yeah.
tickets.
That's true. If all if
Get your
all
tickets
11
on
of you
SeatGeek.
watching right now use the code, Matt can go
Use
to
it.
the game.
Yeah, 100%.
Seton Hall will
Pretty
be roughly 22-12 this year. What are they?
Wow. I
Uh,
mean, they've got confidence now. Mizzou and us back-to-back wins. And who do they have
I
next?
st um, I don't know. I
I
think
get
that's a little generous. I'm not obviously they just beat us, but
They got Xavier next. That'll be a win. And Providence, no sir. Marquette,
actually
nope.
that might not be generous. I could see 22-12, but I think they have a chance to crack the 20 wins, especially seeing how they played tonight. But I got the stat, Matt. I know you wanted to know fast break points. Any guesses what we had and what they had?
Andrew said 4. I think it was 0.
We had
I
zero.
I think
We
yeah,
had zero.
it was
Zero
0.
fast break
And
points.
they let me guess them. I would say like
40.
high 20s to low 30s. Probably
It
like
was just
32.
eight. It was just 18, but that's still 9 buckets in transition.
Zero still. Zero fast break
I mean,
points.
we lost by 15. So,
Yeah,
0 fast break points.
they outscored us 46-36 in the paint. It was
Do I miss Andre Jackson?
Yes.
Do
If you
I?
follow me on Twitter, I put out, what are you doing the rest of the season? Obviously, we know what he's doing, but feel free. Come on back. Put a disguise on. You know what? Book night while you're at it. Come back to Cole, Vital, anybody. Put a
Sounds a
disguise
little
on.
It sounds a little ridiculous, and this is not at all. But if we had Sonogo and Jackson that game, even just someone playing in their bodies, that we probably would have won.
By the way, 17 turnovers. 17.
Yeah. How many did we force?
How
10.
many turnovers did they have?
Did you force 10
12.
turnovers and have 0 fast break points?
Good Lord. And we had 9 against Gonzaga, so double basically. Carolina, we had 7. I mean, we just threw the damn ball away. I mean, let's see how many they have in Kansas. 8. So
Yeah,
17 turnovers is abysmal. That can't happen.
that's combined Kansas and Gonzaga versus Seton Hall for turnovers.
That's terrible.
I still
Jeez.
think this is like an outlier of a game, in my opinion. I don't think we'll see enough. Well, we might, but we're not going to average 15 plus turnovers a game. That's just not who we are. Let's go back to the chat. Boys look jet lagged tonight. I don't know when they got home. They probably got home Saturday.
What was that, Friday?
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I don't think jet lag is that much of an issue. It could be, but I don't know. Donovan injury could be huge. Yeah, obviously we play. I'm more worried about like this upcoming game versus St. John's as opposed to like the DePaul game in a couple weeks or who's after that. I guess Butler's after that, then Xavier.
Ugh.
Those are yeah, but that could be huge. At least you didn't lose to UNC Wilmington. Yeah, that's
Who
true.
said that? Who said that? Ian? He's a Kentucky
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
He's a Kentucky fan, yeah.
Worst game of the season for Sampson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, worst game of his life. I haven't seen him even last year play that
Cam was
bad.
horrible. Cam, I don't want to give Cam a pass, but like they weren't giving him any looks. He had that nice
That
little
is
mid
true.
range.
But
It's
still,
not
he's
like
out there doing nothing. He's just an extra body out there if
He
he's
misses
not
big
hitting threes.
shots. Can't. I don't know. If you're giving slack to Newton, I feel like you gotta give it to him too with the shots.
Yeah.
It's kind of forcing
What else
stuff.
we got here? Samson a fraud from Mr. Go Pirates. I mean, it's a topic for discussion. I mean, what does he
I
do
don't
besides catch lobs?
I don't think you can be a fraud though if you never really had much of an ego to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like that was clinging out there playing Dookie, but I mean Samson, he's gonna learn, but not the best game tonight at all.
Castle looked overmatched. He made some bad decisions. He was another guy that was a culprit of like, I'm just gonna hand you the ball on
Yeah.
defense. A couple of times. He's trying to make that extra play that he really didn't need to make, but I feel like he's healthy. I don't want to use the injury excuse with him anymore. I mean, his first game was over 2 weeks ago since coming back. He probably could have played versus Kansas, I feel like, but it would have been maybe too close. But I feel like he's healthy. But
Can he start though? I don't
I
understand
think
why
now you got to make the change.
Yeah, I think it's time.
you need ball off the bench, bro.
At the same time, like he hasn't earned to start. I don't really think. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's
You need-
weird.
You need ball off the bench. You do. And you need to play Newton and Castle next to each other. You have to.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you're out there with Newton, he's still not to me a true point guard. He's not a guy who's going to get you 5, 6+ assists a night, and then off the bench you put Castle in, and who's he with? I mean, he's not really flourishing. You need to put talent around him too. It's not all on him. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like that Newton and Sampson duo, which I feel like we didn't see all that much, was pretty heavily missed.
Ugh. Caravan, 1 of 6 from 3, 3 of 12 from the field.
I mean, he has nights like that.
Inconsistency.
It's weird from him too. Weird.
I think we're almost wrapped up here. There's not much more to say. Obviously, we got 15 guys in here. I'll go back to the chat before we wrap up.
All right. Any last thoughts?
Castle should start. Yeah, he should. I mean, I've been on the solo ball should start till we lose or he does bad train, but that happens. So yeah, Castle should start.
He's just not noticeable until he hits a shot. In my honest opinion,
Yeah.
I don't really feel like he's doing much out there. He's one of those guys that's guilty of standing around until he does. I mean, did he score from the field tonight? I don't think he did.
No, I think he made all 6 at the free throw line.
Yeah, so he is. He's not very noticeable until he does something. He's not that explosive player that a lot of us thought he would be coming in.
What else we got? St. John's backcourt is undersized versus Castle and Newton. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Danis Jenkins is small, I believe. And Naheem Aline, he's not small, but like Naheem Aline can't guard Castle. He can't really guard Newton. He's a solid defender, but
I've got a quote. Ready for this? Hurley, that was pretty embarrassing performance for all of us. I'm having a hard time even looking you guys in the eyes right now when you ask me a question because it's a feeling of shame. I coached bad. I prepared the team bad. Our scout was bad. That's what we need. Let them know that they absolutely sucked. Don't sugarcoat it. If this, none of that. They sucked. Let them know.
Yeah,
Alex hasn't been right all year except North Carolina game.
Okay, John Rossi,
I'm
not buying your epitome of brutality shirt. No, sir.
I mean, obviously he scored 18, I believe, versus Carolina, but the shot was not there that game. Texas was his big one. It's announced Klingon as an ankle. Yeah. Donovan tried to come back. The trainer said no. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't say that on here.
He was grimacing standing up.
He was stretching it out. I thought there was a chance, but
maybe he is good to go. Who knows?
No way.
Kid's tough. I'll give him that. He, no matter what happens to him, he's a tough kid.
There was a discussion that we had over him playing, him not playing. I feel like a lot of it is his decision.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Tomorrow's going to be brutal. The video session is going to be crushing. The accountability is going to be super high, and we're going to be brutally honest about what happened here tonight. We'll act appropriately. When we lose at UConn, everyone hurts. Yeah, make him walk back, for the love of God. Walk back from Newark.
I'd love to have a microphone in on that. Do you think they're going to post that up? What's that little video?
They should.
Yeah, they should do a little something there. I don't know, because that's bad. That's crazy.
Got a couple more quotes.
Thank you, Dr. Oliver, in the chat here. Thank you.
I am absolutely disgusted with the effort that was put in the game. Hurley should be fired.
No.
I'm not done. We should trade Newton. We should trade Newton and forfeit the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Freaking embarrassment.
There it is. Bam. All right, we forfeit. We're done.
Trade him. Trade Newton.
$5 donation if you make a shot in that mini hoop.
Which one?
Me?
That's you.
If I had a ball, I would. But there's no ball in there, I don't think.
Throw something. Do you have anything?
Let's see. Do I have anything?
Anything to throw? Projectile? Go for it.
Oh, I hit the top.
That was something went in. Something went in.
The card went in.
Sign me.
Show us the card, Andrew. What went in? Show us the front and the back of the item that went in.
No, honestly.
What is that?
Wallet.
Why?
Cuts. Never mind. Whatever. Well,
Yeah, I guess we're
do we
good.
get the donation?
I don't know. I don't know if we can even accept them. But
Yeah, we don't have PayPal. We don't have PayPal.
you can donate Mr. Go Pirates 19 by using code HBTH at checkout on SeatGeek. If you want to, you said you what? I'll quote you. Can't wait for March 3rd. You want to go to that game?
Yeah, go.
Buy those tickets, man.
We won't buy you tickets, so we'll suggest you use code HBTH at checkout.
And we'll give you $20 off your first order of tickets.
So
So
really,
we'll give you $20.
yeah.
There you go.
And we got 16 people in here. We're kind of like done talking about the game too. The number's
Yeah.
about to change to 7, then 3, then.
Yeah.
Let's do last.
Instead of-
Let's do like last thoughts.
Yeah. All right.
We'll go around. Who wants to start? I don't even know what this is at this point.
Well,
Like,
I'll start. I'll start with our last thoughts.
no, hold up. Here's what we'll do. We'll talk
Okay.
about what we were most proud of and what we were most disappointed in this game.
That's a
Okay.
good way to end it.
Yeah, that's how we'll do it.
All right. I was like I said, I was most proud of Hurley for not getting a technical foul. And I was most disappointed with 1 through 4 of our starting 5 and Samson Johnson.
I'm
There
gonna
we go.
go with the fact that nobody blew up, nobody got a technical, nobody forced themselves out of the game. But I'm pretty disappointed that down the stretch we just gave up. Like you could tell, we just gave up. Like there are just people sitting like this with their arms crossed on defense when the ball came down. Like that was pretty disheartening to see. If you're gonna lose, like at least try to come back, but they just gave up.
I will say I am most proud of the first 2 minutes and 9 seconds, where after Donovan's layup, we were up to a quick 8-2 lead after Newton hit a couple of threes. And I am disappointed that we didn't scout Kadari Richmond better because he killed us. I mean, you can't scout for steals, but no player in Division One basketball should have 8 steals against you in a single game. I mean, you don't even see that in the NBA really, where it's more possessions and like more minutes. I mean, that's kind of crazy. I want to see how many minutes before we. This will be our final point. I want to see how many minutes Richmond had, and do his like steals per minute. It's
Had to
probably
have played
insane.
35. He was in the game the whole time.
Yeah, they didn't really go to the bench much. And after I do this, I'll do one final look at the chat. If there's nothing new, we'll call it. Let me find those stats. Here we are. Richmond played 30, we'll call it 34 minutes and had 8 steals. So that's like just a steal pretty much every 4 minutes, which that's crazy.
Yeah.
But at least we only have to play him one more time, maybe twice ever, unless he comes back for his COVID year. But
Come to UConn, Kadari, please.
why
He
not?
had more steals than how our starting lineup had points. So
Yeah,
crazy.
that can't happen.
No.
Let me see. Was that shot a Cam Spencer reference?
Well, about 90 things went up and 1 went in. So, yeah.
1 for 5. I'll say 1 for 5.
Go. Well, yeah.
If anyone cares, UNC is up on Oklahoma at half.
That'd be good for
Go
us. to win one.
Sooners.
Nah, we need Oklahoma or we need UNC to win that one.
Yeah, it's
We
cool
beat
that
them.
Oklahoma's doing good, but yeah,
We
we
beat
need
them.
Carolina.
We beat them. We need that ranking.
We'll do a quick scoreboard update. Obviously, I said St. John's beat Xavier. Creighton is up by 9 in the second half versus Villanova. Kalkbrenner has 10. Eric Dixon has 15 of the 27 for Nova, who kind of stinks. Not Dixon, Nova. They kind of stink. But one more quote from the same dude that did the Hurley fire.
Oh,
One more
boy.
good, juicy one. We are obviously not good enough for the Big East. We are better off for the America East. Honestly, what the hell was this game? Trade Newton? What? And for Diaz and sign Leo? What does that even
What?
what does that mean? Take notes early.
Trey Newton. Trey Newton.
Whoever
Man.
said that, clarify who Diaz and Leo are,
Yeah, please.
and then we'll be done. It's like we gotta end this. We've been
What
talking
in
too
the
long.
world?
Diazzi? Is Yaya Diazzi still in college?
I don't even know who that is. So no,
I feel
maybe.
like that might be a Major League Baseball player. I'm trying to remember who that is.
There's a rumor on Twitter that Jalen Stewart is leaving.
Yeah,
Let's
the first
stop the
game.
rumors. Jalen is not leaving. He loves UConn. Okay, this is just getting out of hand.
Who are they talking to? What is the source?
Yeah, where does that come from? Out of all of this, where does that come from?
Why would he just decide right now that he's out? And who would he have told already? I don't.
Yeah, I don't know, but this guy said stop with the rumors, so
Who would have known that information already?
who knows?
All right, stay with here.
Yeah, I think we're just about through here. Nobody's transferring yet. Maybe they will 3 months from now. That's their decision. But thanks for whoever joined us for this rather lengthy post game. It's a lot longer than I expected because we kind of got off track. But I
That's
feel
what
like
it's
this would have
for.
been I feel like this would have been a half hour shorter if we won because oh cool, we won against 7-4 Seton Hall. But it was interesting that we lost, obviously. But interesting we lost for the podcast. Not interesting we lost for the team. You can't be dropping that. But obviously, I don't think we'll be doing an episode before St. John's. That there's not a lot of time, but we'll certainly be doing one afterwards, recapping it. Kind of, we'll do an episode in that week off we have before the DePaul game, recapping St. John's and doing maybe some other fun stuff. Who knows? But if you guys tuned in, thanks for watching. If your first time tuning in, oh boy,
And my friend just texted me. But
oh
Yaya
boy.
Diaby, he's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. So
What?
I don't know.
On that note, Bucks are going to make the playoffs, but that's a different topic for a different podcast. We won't start anytime soon. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe if you enjoy us. We're usually not this long and probably a little more serious in a normal episode. If you haven't watched a normal episode, we just did a Big East preview. We were completely wrong about Seton Hall and probably wrong about the other 9 teams. So go check that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna